You just heard the headline. The Chiefs traded for Justin Fields, sending a sixth-round pick in 2027 to the Jets, and, according to the reporting, landing Fields with the Jets eating most of the big guaranteed money, so Kansas City only carries roughly $3 million guaranteed this season. Tom Pelissero and Ian Rappaport were the reporters on the early details. The short version for you is simple. The Chiefs upgraded their backup quarterback from a veteran stopgap to a legitimately dynamic playmaker who can run, extend plays, and create highlights when called upon. That choice says a lot about how the front office is planning for the worst and thinking about optionality. On one level, it's a straightforward roster move. Improve the QB2 position. But on another, it's a statement. You don't give up a draft pick and take on even $3 million in guaranteed salary for a clipboard-only veteran. You bring in someone who can start meaningful games if needed. And that matters because of Patrick Mahomes' recovery timeline from the ACL. While the expectation for you and the rest of Chiefs Kingdom is that Mahomes will be the starter when he's healthy, the club clearly wanted someone who can do more than merely manage the game for a few weeks. Now, this isn't a risk-free, paint-by-numbers upgrade. Fields is the most physically gifted backup the Chiefs have carried since Mahomes himself arrived. His rushing ability changes how a playbook can be schemed. But he also brings well-known developmental questions, footwork in the pocket, consistency with reads, and some accuracy decision-making concerns. Still, in a low-pressure role behind Mahomes and under Andy Reid and a polished coaching staff, Fields gets an environment that could highlight his strengths and hide some weaknesses. That fits a clear team logic. Buy low on high upside, keep cap flexibility, and use Kansas City's offensive structure to maximize what he does best. Quick engagement for you. Poll in the Twitter. Comments: do you trust this backup to start if needed? Yes, no, unsure. Real quick, guys. If you're enjoying the breakdown, please hit that like button. It's a huge help for the algorithm. Also, subscribe to help reach 7,000 subscribers. And a massive thank you to everyone using the Super Thanks feature. Your support directly funds this channel and keeps us independent. Thanks for being the best fans in the NFL. When you look at this move by the Kansas City Chiefs, the first thing that jumps out is the upside. The Chiefs didn't just go out and grab another placeholder backup quarterback. They brought in a player with real athletic traits and explosive ability in Justin Fields. And that alone makes this one of the most intriguing backup quarterback situations the team has had since Patrick Mahomes became the starter. Let's start with the obvious strength: Fields' athleticism. Few quarterbacks in the NFL can do what he can do with his legs. Over the course of his career, he has proven he can turn broken plays into big gains and extend drives with explosive scrambles. He has already rushed for thousands of yards in his career, which is almost unheard of for most quarterbacks. That running ability instantly gives the Chiefs something they normally don't have at the backup quarterback position: a legitimate ground threat from the QB spot. Think about how that fits inside the offensive mind of Andy Reid. Reid has always loved creative offensive packages. Motion, misdirection, option looks, quarterback movement. These are all things he has experimented with throughout his career. With Fields, you suddenly have a quarterback who can run zone reads, designed quarterback runs, rollouts, and bootlegs without losing any explosive potential. In other words, the offense doesn't have to shrink if Mahomes misses time. It just becomes different. But of course, there are reasons Fields is now on another team and not locked in as a franchise quarterback somewhere else. The biggest question marks around his game have always been related to the passing side of the position. Reading defenses consistently has been an issue at times. His pocket footwork can get messy under pressure. And occasionally he holds on to the football too long, which leads to sacks or stalled drives. Those are the kinds of things that separate talented quarterbacks from consistently elite ones in the NFL. And for Fields, those inconsistencies are exactly why teams have been hesitant to fully commit to him as a long-term starter. However, here's where the situation in Kansas City changes everything. Fields is no longer walking into a building where he has to carry the offense or compete to be the franchise guy. That role already belongs to Mahomes. Instead, Fields gets something he hasn't really had in his NFL career yet: a low-pressure environment where development is actually possible. He gets to learn behind Mahomes, he gets coached by Andy Reid, and he gets to operate within one of the most stable offensive systems in football. That combination could be incredibly valuable for him. If the Chiefs' staff can clean up some of the technical issues, the footwork, the timing, the defensive recognition, more option concepts, but the offense wouldn't have to become conservative or predictable. In fact, in some ways, it might become even more creative. Andy Reid has always been known for adapting his offense to the strengths of his players. If Fields had to start a couple games, you might suddenly see quarterback read options, rollout packages, or even gadget formations that take advantage of his mobility. That kind of flexibility matters a lot during a long NFL season. Another factor here is something that smart front offices think about all the time: asset value. Let's say Fields performs well in Kansas City. Maybe he looks sharp in preseason. Maybe he wins a game or two if Mahomes misses time. Maybe he shows clear development working inside Reid's system. If that happens, his value around the league could rise again. Quarterbacks are always in demand in the NFL. Every season, there are teams searching for starters, backups, or competition at the position. If Fields rebuilds some of his reputation in Kansas City, the Chiefs could potentially flip him later for another draft pick. And if that sounds familiar, it's because we've seen versions of that strategy before around the league. Develop a talented player in a stable environment, and suddenly another team wants him. But even if that never happens, the move still makes sense from a pure roster standpoint. Think about the alternative. If the Chiefs had gone into the season with a lower upside veteran backup, the ceiling would be limited. That kind of quarterback might keep the offense afloat for a week or two, but you're not getting explosive plays or dynamic athleticism. With Fields, you at least have the possibility of game-changing moments. Now here's the big question I want you to think about. Do you believe this move signals the Chiefs expect Mahomes to miss time at the beginning of the season? Yes, they're preparing for a slow recovery. No, it's just smart roster planning. Not sure yet. Let me know in the comments, because this is one of the most debated parts of this trade. And real quick, if you're enjoying this breakdown, hit that like button. It helps the algorithm push this video to more Chiefs fans. Also, make sure you subscribe so we can reach 7,000 subscribers. And a massive thank you to everyone using the Super Thanks feature. Your support directly helps keep this channel running independently. Now that the Kansas City Chiefs have brought in Justin Fields, the next big question for you as a fan is simple. What should you actually watch for during training camp and preseason? Because this is where we'll start to learn whether this trade was simply a depth move or something that could become much bigger. The first thing to watch is how quickly Fields picks up the offense under Andy Reid. Reid's playbook is famously complex. Timing, reads, motion adjustments, and protection calls all have to be executed precisely. For a quarterback who has struggled at times, with defensive reads and pocket timing, mastering this system will be the first major test. If reports from training camp start saying Fields is making quick reads, getting the ball out on time, and operating the offense smoothly, that will be a huge sign that the coaching staff is successfully refining his mechanics and decision-making. The second thing to watch is his footwork in the pocket. This has always been one of the biggest technical critiques of Fields. When his base gets inconsistent, his throws can sail or arrive late. But good quarterback coaching can absolutely clean that up over time. Kansas City has a track record of developing quarterbacks, and being around Patrick Mahomes every day in meetings and film sessions could accelerate that process. Another fascinating thing to watch will be whether the Chiefs design special packages for Fields. Even if Mahomes is fully healthy and starting every game, Fields has the athletic ability to be used in creative situations. Think short yardage plays, quarterback run packages, or even gadget formations designed to stress defenses. Reid has never been afraid to experiment, and Fields gives him a unique chess piece he hasn't really had before at the backup quarterback position. Now, realistically, the most likely scenario is still simple. Mahomes starts, Fields backs him up, and the season moves forward normally. But in the NFL, depth matters more than fans sometimes realize. Injuries happen. Games swing on a single play. And having a backup who can actually create explosive moments instead of just managing the game can be the difference between winning and losing a key matchup. That's why this trade is so interesting. It's low risk, the cost was modest, but the upside? The upside could be huge. If Fields stabilizes his game inside the Chiefs' system, Kansas City may have just turned a small investment into one of the most talented backup quarterbacks in the entire league. And if he ever has to step onto the field for a meaningful stretch of games, the offense still has the ability to generate explosive plays. Before we wrap this up, I want to hear one last thing from you. If Fields does see the field this season, what is one play you'd love to see Andy Reid dial up for him? A designed quarterback run? An RPO package? A deep play action shot? Drop your answer in the comments because I'm really curious what Chiefs Kingdom thinks. And real quick, guys, if you're enjoying these breakdowns, please hit that like button. It helps the algorithm push this video to more Chiefs fans. Also, make sure you subscribe so we can reach 7,000 subscribers. And a huge thank you to everyone using the Super Thanks feature. Your support directly funds this channel and keeps it independent. Thank you for being the best fans in the NFL. Stay locked with Total Chiefs News. Hail Chiefs!